Ever get that feeling like you're being watched? Like someone's always right behind you?
Yeah, I think we all get that feeling sometimes, right?
Right. It's unsettling. Now imagine that feeling, but amp it up. Like it's not just some random person, but, well, you don't even know what it is.
Okay, getting creepier.
Yeah. And now add in the most powerful instinct there is, the need to protect your child. That's what we're diving into today, the world of Stephen King's Firestarter.
Oh, wow, Firestarter. Yeah, I haven't read that one in a while. It's pretty intense.
Oh, it is. And you guys send in some really powerful excerpts, so we're going to go deep on those. It's Andy McGee and his daughter Charlie on the run, constantly looking over their shoulders. They're being hunted by, well, King calls them the shop, but they're more than just some shady organization.
Right, like in the excerpts, you can really feel that there's something more going on, something kind of, I don't know, supernatural maybe.
Definitely. And it's tied to Andy and Charlie themselves. Andy's got this ability, this push that lets him influence people, but it's killing him, literally. Every time he uses it, it's like a piece of him breaks off.
Oof, so he's like running out of time.
Yeah, and meanwhile, he's got Charlie to worry about. She's got her own power, something even more intense, and that's what makes them so valuable and so dangerous to the shop. It's like they're both weapons and victims at the same time.
So like they're trying to run, but also figure out what they are and how to control it. That's a lot to deal with.
Exactly. It's like trying to learn to fly while someone's shooting at you.
Yikes. Not a good combo. So where do we even begin with this?
Well, let's start with that feeling of being hunted, because it's everywhere in these excerpts. Andy's pulled Charlie out of school. They're constantly moving, always watching for anyone who might be following them.
Oh, yeah, like in that first scene in the taxi.
Yeah.
He's so desperate to get away, he uses his push on the driver, even though it's excruciating for him.
Right. And he almost passes out doing it, but he manages to get them a little further away. But then, bam, that green car shows up again.
Oh, yeah, the green car. They can't seem to shake it. It's like it's always there, lurking, waiting for them to look up.
And it's not just that it keeps reappearing. The way Andy reacts, it's like he knows exactly who's behind it and what they're capable of. There's a line where he thinks they've been briefed on Charlie, too.
Whoa, so they're not just after him. They're specifically interested in her power.
Exactly, which is even more terrifying when you think about how young she is. I mean, she's just a kid, and these people are hunting her. And then at the airport, there's that moment with the cop who describes Andy, and the driver of the green car is listening, and he's pleased.
Wait, so they know what he looks like. They know he's getting weaker every time he uses his push.
It seems like it. They're watching him fall apart, waiting for the moment when he can't protect her anymore.
Okay, so we've got these, like, shadowy figures, the shop, who are clearly a threat.
Right, but we need to understand what they're after. What are Andy and Charlie capable of? What are these powers that make them so valuable, so dangerous?
Well, Andy's push, like you said, it lets him influence people, kind of like mind control or something. But it's more than just making someone do something. It's like he's making them believe something, see something that isn't there.
Oh, yeah, like with the taxi driver. He doesn't just force him to drive faster. He makes him see a non-existent black man, someone dangerous, to scare him into getting them out of there.
Right, so he's manipulating their perceptions, their reality.
Exactly, but it's costing him. Every time he does it, there's this incredible pain, like a steel dagger in his head, and it gets worse every time.
Geez, so like, he can't just keep using it willy-nilly. He's got to be super careful.
Exactly. And then there's Charlie. The excerpts call her a fire starter, like a great big Zippo lighter. It's not just about starting fires, though, is it?
No, it seems like it's more than that. There's this sense that her power is like raw, untamed. We see it when she accidentally sets the bathroom on fire.
Right. That's a huge red flag. She didn't mean to do it, but the damage is done. It shows how much potential for destruction she has.
Yeah, and Andy's terrified of it. He keeps warning her not to push like he does. He even says her push is different, that she can't make people change their minds like he can.
Which suggests that her power is something else entirely, something maybe he doesn't even fully understand. And then there's that bit about Vicky, Charlie's mother. Remember that conversation about telepathy?
Oh yeah, like maybe their powers are connected somehow, like it runs in the family.
Exactly. And that leads us to the big question, where did these powers come from? And that's where Lot 6 comes in.
Right, this super secret government experiment that messed with people's minds, trying to create, well, who knows what they were trying to create.
But we see the results, and they're not pretty. People died, went insane, were physically maimed. It's like they opened a Pandora's box and couldn't close it.
And Andy was curious about it, even before all this happened. He remembers asking about it in college, but no one would tell him anything.
Right. It was all hush-hush, top secret, which makes you wonder what they were so afraid of. And then there's that conversation with his roommate, Quincy, who warns him about what happens when you mix things that shouldn't be mixed.
Oh, yeah, like the lemon and meringue thing, how you get something completely new and unexpected and maybe not so good.
Exactly. He told Andy to keep his head down, but it's too late for that now. They're in too deep.
So what we have here is a classic king scenario, right? Ordinary people caught up in extraordinary and terrifying circumstances.
Exactly. Andy and Charlie are just trying to survive, but they're carrying the weight of this failed experiment, this messed up legacy of Lot 6. They're both victims, and they're both incredibly powerful, which makes them a huge threat to the people who created them.
And the shop is relentless. They've captured Charlie before, and we see the trauma that's caused Andy. He knows what they're capable of, and he's desperate to keep her away from them.
And that desperation is driving him. He's pushing himself further and further, even though it's destroying him, all to protect Charlie.
But what about Charlie? What about her agency in all of this? I mean, she's just a kid, but she's got this immense power inside her.
Right, and that's the question we're left with, isn't it? What will she become? Will she learn to control her power, or will it control her? And what will the shop do if they finally catch her?
It's not looking good for them, is it? I mean, they're outnumbered, outgunned, and Andy's running out of steam.
No, it's not. But that's the thing about Stephen King, isn't it? He puts his characters through hell, and somehow, some way, they find a way to fight back. Whether they win or lose, that's another story.
So that's it for our deep dive into these Firestarter excerpts. It's just a taste of the story, but man, it's a powerful taste.
It is. And it leaves us with a lot to think about. The nature of power, the consequences of unchecked ambition, and the lengths a parent will go to protect their child.
And don't forget the ethical implications of all this. Messing with people's minds, creating these abilities they can't control. That's some scary stuff.
Absolutely. So, if you haven't read Firestarter, I highly recommend it. It's a wild ride. And if you have, let us know what you think. What are Andy and Charlie's chances? What would you do in their situation?
Yeah, hit us up in the comments. Let's discuss.
And thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.